Jai Hind, dear students. I am welcoming all of you to a new topic from Class 11 Accountancy, which is very important for our higher studies, the rules of debit and credit. Without these rules, it's not possible to learn all the aspects of accountancy. So we have to learn how it is very important while recording business transactions. So rules of debit and credit are very important related to the preparation of accounts, ledgers, different profit and loss account, and also the different journal entries, differentiating aspects from a transaction, etc. So what is the role of debit and credit? So debit and credit serve as the two balancing aspect of every business transaction. In double entry keeping, we have to find out what are the two different accounts from a particular transaction. Debits are entered in the left side of a ledger and the credits are entered in the right side of a ledger. This concept is developed through the experience of business peoples and professionals prevailed before hundreds of years. So we have to remember every account have two sides. Debit side comes in the left and credit side comes in the right. Whether a debit increases or decreases, an account depends upon what kind of account is. So, depending upon the nature of account, we are giving the rules. We are using the rules. So it's very important we have to identify what is the increasing account or decreasing account from a transaction, or what is the increasing aspect or decreasing aspect from a financial transaction. So that ability you have to develop. Actually, you have already learned the identification of two aspects from a transaction from the video lesson accounting equation. If it is not clear, please go through my channel. You can watch the video with the solved problems, how to find out the two different aspects from a transaction. So after considering that two different accounts, we are giving the debit credit rules. So in accounting, two approaches are there related to the debit credit rule. First one is the traditional approach, or we can say English approach, and second one is the modern approach, and another name is American approach. So as per the traditional approach, there exist two different accounts, personal account and impersonal account. According to this system, we should record both the aspects of a transaction, whereas one aspect of a transaction will be debited and another aspect of the transaction will be credited. Only a slight variation in the rules, but we are getting the output same. So the second approach is modern approach, and it is also known as American approach. And this approach is based on the concept of accounting equation that we have already learned. In this approach, accounts are debited or credited according to the nature of an account. So according to the nature of an account, we are giving debit, whether it is increasing or decreasing, that is we are giving. So all these explanation will be very clear by solving problems and learning what are the different accounts coming as per the traditional approach and modern approach. So remember, two approaches are there while learning the concept of rules of debit and credit. So we have to move to the different classification of this traditional approach and modern approach. I welcoming all of you to the first section of rules of debit and credit, that is traditional or English approach. So as per this approach, two important accounts are there. So under this traditional approach, all the ledger are classified into personal and impersonal accounts. So remember, the rules of debit and credit under the traditional approach are very important and golden rules we are saying. So it's very important in the transactions. Identification of the debit aspect and credit aspect also very important related to all the rules of accounting. So here you have to remember two accounts are there as per traditional approach. It is personal account and impersonal account. And under this traditional approach, all the ledger account will be classified into these two categories. Remember that personal account and impersonal account. So what is personal account? You know very well there are three categories of persons. Three categories of persons or human beings. It may be natural person or artificial person, or we can say representative person. Artificial, natural, and representative person. Depending upon the transaction, we will identify whether there is an element of natural person or an artificial person or a representative person. Based on that factors, we will use the debit credit rules. So before that, before learning the rules of debit and credit as per the traditional approach, we have to familiarize with the different accounts and its classification under the traditional approach method. So please remember, personal accounts and impersonal accounts are there. Personal accounts are classified into three categories: natural person, artificial person, and a representative person. Let's welcome to know about natural person. What are the different examples for natural person? You know very well, we and you all are human beings, natural human beings. That is the best example we can say under natural persons account. So natural persons are human beings. Here we include accounts belonging to humans like debtors, creditors, proprietors capital account, proprietors drawings account, etc. These all items come under the category natural person. So remember, these are the these are the different aspects we are finding out from the transaction. So please remember, whenever there is a name for or name of debtor, mainly in the transaction related to sales, sale of goods for credit, there comes the debtor. When the goods are purchased on credit, there comes the creditor. So creditor, debtors account, owner's account, proprietor's account, then proprietor's capital account, proprietor's drawings account. All these are examples for natural person. It will be very easy when you learn the analysis of transactions on the basis of the debit credit rules. It will be very clear related to what is or who is a natural person, artificial person, and a representative person. Please remember that. And also, the second category comes the artificial person. Artificial person. So it is just opposite to the natural person. These are those persons who are not human beings, but can act as a human being. They possess a separate identity in the eyes of the law. Both are not same. You know very well when we learn the accounting entity concept, business entity concept, there we learn the owner and the firm are two different entities. So that firm is artificial person and the owner is natural person. So these includes artificial persons includes Hindu undivided family. It's a form of business, partnership firm, cooperative societies, an association of any person, companies, municipal corporations, hospitals, bank, government bodies. These are the examples for artificial person. Remember, this is the second category coming under personal account. And the third category includes representative persons. Please remember, only few sometimes confusing examples are there, and I will definitely give a guarantee. The concept related to representative persons will be very clear when you learn the topic journalizing. So here please remember what is the meaning of the term representative person. As the name suggests, these accounts represents the accounts of the persons. These persons may be natural or artificial. Depending upon the transaction, we can differentiate whether that person or the account is related to natural or artificial person. And most importantly, the nominal accounts, that is expenses like or incomes like outstanding expenses. Outstanding means still we have to pay some expenses during this financial year. For example, suppose I have paid my firm's financial year is starting from January to December, and I had paid salary only up to October 1st. Still, I have to pay 3 months' salary for my workers. So 3 months' salary is outstanding. I have to pay, and prepaid means already paid, paid in advance. Accrued means what we can say. We have a lot of amount of money in our bank, and we are not collecting any amount of interest. It will be still accrued, still will be there in the bank account. Unearned income, like lot of examples are there for representative persons. Please remember wages outstanding, prepaid rent, accrued interest, unearned commission. These are the best example for representative person. And I'm giving definitely again I'm giving a guarantee this concept will be very clear when you learn to prepare the channel, and you learn how to adjust all these items in the final account. So please remember the representative person. So the personal account is divided into three. Remember, natural person, artificial person, and representative person. I hope it is very clear for you. Please remember all the examples. And the second category of accounts as per the traditional approach, impersonal account. Impersonal account. So impersonal accounts are the accounts other than personal account. We can give name like two categories are there. Two categories of impersonal accounts are there, which is real account and a nominal account. Real account and a nominal account. Let us learn what is real account and what is nominal account with lots of examples. So the first one is a real account. What is real in the world, which have some physical existence. So these accounts are the accounts of all assets and liabilities of the business. Assets and liabilities of the business, which will come under a real account. Therefore, these accounts are not classed at the end of the accounting year. It will still continue. It will continue means there will be a balance in the asset account and the liability account. So thus they continue to appear in the balance sheet. The balance of these accounts are carried forward for the next year also. So they are permanent accounts and they have a lot of categories. Real account have lot of categories. Two categories are there: tangible real account and intangible real account. What is tangible real account? You know very well tangible asset or intangible asset, isn't it? So here the accounts related to tangible assets or any liability we can say. So tangible real account comprises of those assets, properties or possessions that one can touch, see and measure. You know very well lot of examples are there: building, furniture, machinery, etc. And second category, intangible real account, includes lot of assets related to intangible which do not have any physical existence. Already we have learned while learning the classification of assets, isn't it? So goodwill, patent, copyright, trademark, etc. comes under intangible real account. So impersonal account is classified into two: a real account and a nominal account. A real account again classified into tangible real account and intangible real account. And what is nominal account? So real account is related to assets and liability. Nominal account is related to expenses, losses, incomes and gains. Expenses, losses, incomes and gains. So we can give lot of examples for expenses like rent paid, commission paid, discount paid, and also loss on sale of asset. And for incomes, we can say rent received, interest received, commission received, discount received. Lot of examples are there. Profit on sale of asset. These are all the items coming under nominal account. So please remember the rules we have to learn for recording the transactions after identifying whether it is a personal account or impersonal account. And in personal account also, we have to identify whether it is an artificial person, natural person or representative person. And in impersonal account, we have to identify whether it is a real account or nominal account. And tangible real account or intangible real account. So my dear students, please go through the theory again to learn what are the different aspects coming under each accounts. Then only it will be very easy to identify the different aspects from a transaction. Minimum two aspects from a transaction. Before that, we have to learn what is the rule of debit and credit. What is the rule of debit and credit under traditional or English approach? English approach. Please come into the table. It will be very clear for you. Personal account rule. Personal account rule. Please read like this: debit the receiver, credit the giver. You can create a poem also: debit the receiver, credit the giver. And real account: debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account: debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So let us discuss how it is related. Personal account rule is debit the receiver, credit the giver. So when we learn the examples, it will be more clear. Debit the receiver. Who is receiving? We have to debit that account. Means we have to show that entry in the debit side of that particular account. Credit the giver. Who is giving? We have to credit. We have to show it on the credit side. Credit side means right side. Debit side means left side of an account. And real account, debit what comes in. Whatever may be the assets coming into the organization, we have to debit. And whatever may be going out of the organization, especially liability, we have to credit. So debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all expenses and losses. So we have to record in the debit side every time whatever may be the expenses and losses. Credit all incomes and gains. We have to show the income received, commission received, interest received, especially all these items we have to show it on the credit side of the account. That means it increases. So remember, this is the very important golden rule. Still we are following in our business organization for recording business transactions. I hope it is very clear for you. So we are going to wind up this section. Before that, we have to solve one problem for learning how these rules are used to analyze the transactions, to find out the different two aspects, how we are giving the debit and credit for the aspects. So please join with me. We are solving one problem to learn it very thoroughly. Dear students, learning accountancy in a practical sense makes learning more relevant. So, while learning the rules of debit and credit, we have to solve one problem. At that time, you have to imagine like that you are going to record the transactions that occurred in your business, and you are going to record the transactions in the books of the firm, not in your book. You are going to record the transactions in the books of the firm. And remember, the rules of debit and credit is very important. Here we are going to analyze each and every transactions, and based on the traditional approach of rules and rules of debit and credit. And also very important point, in every transaction there will be two accounts. One account will be debited, another account will be credited. Remember, one account will be debited, will be shown on the debit side, another account will be shown on the credit side. And never there will be the account from one transaction. Account from one transaction will be shown on debit side, or two accounts are never shown from a transaction in a same account, debit side or credit side. And remember, two different accounts will be get from a single transaction, and it will be recorded. It will be recorded one particular account debit side and another account in the credit side. Remember, it will be very clear while solving this problem. So here a lot of transactions are there, like commence the business. Already you know very well what are the two aspects, two accounts: purchased furniture for cash, purchased goods from Ram on credit, sold goods for cash, paid salary to Jatin, and paid to Ram, salary to be paid to Rahul, outstanding, commission earned but not received, like so. Let us discuss what are the different aspects or accounts from each transaction, what we have to do, what is the nature of an account, how we have to give the debit and credit. Please come with me. The first transaction is related to commence the business with the cash 1 lakh. Commence the business with the cash 1 lakh. So that is the transaction. From that we have to identify the two different aspects. Chitra commenced the business with the cash. You know very well when you learned the concept account equation. One aspect is cash. So the accounts involved in this transaction is one cash, another one is capital. You know very well, cash comes under the real account. Already we have learned assets are coming in the real account. Capital comes under the personal account. And what is happening for these accounts? Cash is coming into the organization and Chitra is the giver, personal account. We can say also capital is coming. So what we can say? Capital is increasing, Chitra is giving. So we have to give debit for cash. Debit for cash because cash is coming to the organization. So we can say cash is debited. So automatically if one aspect is debited, another aspect will be credited. I hope it is very clear for you. So using this rule, two accounts we have identified, one from real account, another from personal account, and we used the rule, personal account rule. What is personal account rule? When it is giving, credit the giver. So capital, it is credited because credit the giver. And cash, what is coming into the organization? Debit, what comes in? Debit. I hope it is very clear. So remember, in this way we have to analyze all the transactions. Next one is purchase to furniture. Remember the two different aspects. It is a credit. It is whether it is a credit or cash transaction. It's very clear it is a cash transaction. And the two accounts: furniture account, cash account. Also the nature account. Furniture is a real account. Cash also real account. So what is coming into the organization? Furniture is coming into the organization. Cash is going out. So we can give the rule. Furniture is coming into the organization, so debit. Cash is going out of the organization, so credit. And what is the third transaction? Purchased goods from Ram on credit. So two aspects are purchases and Ram account. Purchase account is a real account and Ram is a personal account. We can say personal account. So good is coming into the organization. Stock or goods is coming into the organization. So debited. And Ram is the giver. Ram is the giver. So it is credited. So based on the rules, we are giving the debit and the credit. And the next transaction is sold goods for cash 20,000. Cash transaction. So cash is coming into the organization. Sales. Goods are going out. That is the change. Cash is coming into the organization. And a real account we can give for both because what is coming and what is going out. Cash is coming, so debited, and sales goods are going out, so it is credited. And also the salary paid to Jadin 15,000. Salary is an expense, so nominal account is an expense, so it is debited. Cash, you know, very well, real account, it is going out of the organization, so asset going out, credited. Also paid to Ram, personal account, Ram is the receiver, so debited. Cash, you know very well, it's going out of the organization, so it is credited. I hope it is very clear for you. And also the next transaction, salary paid to Rahul is outstanding. Outstanding, you know very well, still we have to pay 5,000 salary for Rahul. So one aspect is salary account, it's nominal account. Remember, salary is an expense and it's debited. And the salary outstanding is another aspect. It is a representative personal account. Already we have learned the examples. Representative personal account. So salary is payable. We have to pay the salary for the organization. Have to pay the salary for full. Therefore, it will be credited. So the last transaction is commission earned but not received. The organization got some amount. They earned some amount of commission but not received. It's not recorded in the organization. So accrued income, we can say accrued commission. It is a representative personal account. So it will be debited. And commission account is an income account. We can say nominal account. The commission is an income. Remember that it is credited. So depending upon these transactions, we have analyzed and to find out what is the debit and what is the credit. Remember all these aspects. First of all, we have to identify the accounts involved, what is the nature of account, and how account is affected. And after that, we have to give the debit and credit. So this is the concept of traditional approach. But in the modern business world, we are giving more importance for the modern approach of rules of debit and credit. That also we have to learn. Modern approach or American approach of rules of debit and credit. My dear students, please learn both the rules of debit and credit, and you can use as your wish which approach is very easy for you. As per that you can use it. So here also I am giving the explanation regarding what are the different accounts coming under the modern or American approach, and definitely we are learning the rules of the modern or American approach debit credit rules, and also we will solve one problem to learn the concepts of debit and credit as per modern or American approach. So my dear students, as per modern approach or American approach, there exist five different accounts. Five different accounts. And all the accounts are very much familiar for you. You can identify directly. So under the modern approach, the accounts are not debited and credit, but we are using the accounting equation. Accounting equation. Thus it is also known as what? Accounting equation approach. So another name for modern approach is accounting equation approach. Here we have to learn the first five accounts and how we have to give the debit and credit for the change occurring for that accounts. So please look at, you know very well the accounting equation, that also you have to remember. The first account is asset account. Already you have learned what are the different classification of assets, and you know very well asset is a property of the organization which can be converted into cash within a limited period. If it is converting within 1 year, current asset. If it is taking more than 1 year time for converting, then it is known as long-term asset or fixed asset, non-current asset, like so. So assets are classified into two categories: non-current asset and current asset. Non-current asset include non-current investment, fixed asset. Fixed asset again classified into tangible asset and intangible asset, like so. So remember, the account which comes under modern approach, one is asset account and second one is liability account. You know very well, lot of classifications already you have learned regarding liability. It is the obligation of the organization which you have to pay maybe within 1 year or by taking more than 1 year. That obligation which is paying within 1 year is known as current liability, and if it is taking more than 1 year to repay the amount of liability, then it is known as long-term liability or non-current liability. The second account is liability account, and the third one is capital account. You know very well what is the meaning of the term capital. It is the amount brought by the owner into the business, and that amount will be repaid after a certain period, maybe at the time of closing of its business. And so we can say the capital amount is the obligation of the firm, which will be repaid at the winding up of that business. So third account is capital account, and next one is revenue account. You know very well, revenue indicates the total amount of money earned by the organization through different activities, including sales. And revenue is the amount earned by the business by selling of goods or rendering services. So remember a lot of examples: income received, sales, and sales can be classified into two: credit sales and cash sales, and interest received, dividend received. Lot of incomes are there. And the last account is expense account, which includes lot of expense related to the cost of production or distribution in the organization. You know very well, lot of examples come in: carriage inward, carriage outward, purchases, wages, salary, rent paid, etc. A lot of examples are there for expense account. So as per the modern approach or American approach, the accounts are classified into five. Don't be confused. As per the traditional approach, only two accounts are there, but here five accounts are there, which are much familiar for you. So asset account, liability account, capital account, expense account, and income account. And my dear students, this is the rule. This table shows the rule of debit and credit for these five accounts. Please look at that. When the asset account increases, it will be debited, and if it is decreasing, it will be credited. Liability account increases, credited, just opposite for asset. And if the liability decreases, credited, sorry, debited. So increase in liability credited, decrease in liability debited. Capital account increases credited, decreases debited. Revenue account increases debited, decreases debited. And expense account increases debited, decreases credited. So we can combine the rules. Asset account and expense account have same rule. Please look at this. Asset account increases debited, expense account increases debited. Asset account decreases credited, expense account decreases credited. So we can say asset and expense account increases debited, decreases credited. And it is just opposite. Liability, capital, and income increases credited, decreases debited. We can combine the rules like so also. So please remember these rules. Based on the increase and decrease in the value of asset, liability, capital, revenue, and expense, we are giving the rules of debit and credit. So I welcome all of you to learn this concept by solving an illustration. So here is the problem. Lot of transactions are there. We will discuss each transaction by analyzing which account is there, what are the two accounts, what we have to do when it is increasing or decreasing. Please remember the rules of debit and credit. Asset and expense increases debited, decreases credited. Income, liability, capital, and income, liability, and capital increases credited, decreases debited. So the first transaction, commenced business with cash 1 lakh. Commenced business with cash 1 lakh. What are the two different aspects? One is cash account, another one is capital account. Cash is asset and cash is increasing to the organization. In the organization, when the partner or the owner is bringing cash, it increases. So debited. And the capital is the second account. It comes under capital. And capital is also increasing. Capital is also increasing, so it will be credited. Increase in capital, liability, and income credited. So please remember, it's very easy than the traditional approach to record the entries, the transactions. And the second, paid rent 1000. First, paid rent, or the organization paid rent. So the first account is rent and the second one is cash. Cash and rent. Rent is an expense. Expense is increasing. Expense is increasing, so debited. And cash is an asset. Cash is decreasing. When we are paying some expense, cash is decreasing in the organization. So decrease in an asset, credited. I hope it is very clear for you. The next one is received commission. So cash is coming into the organization. Commission also coming. Commission is an income. Cash is an asset. So cash is increasing. We will give debit. Asset increases, debit. Income also increases. Commission also increasing. So we will give credit. And the next one is what? Introduced additional capital 10,000 in cash and 5,000 in goods. So two debit aspects are coming. Don't misunderstand that. Here two debit aspect and one credit aspect is here. So what is coming? Cash and goods is coming. So asset is coming. Both are increasing. Cash and goods are increasing. Debit. Capital is another aspect. Second aspect is capital. So capital is increasing. Capital, not commission. It's a typing error. Please remember, forgive that. Capital is increasing, so credit. Remember that capital is increasing. And purchased goods 20,000 from Binu. Purchase is one aspect, and Binu is another aspect. You know very well, whenever the firm is purchasing goods or something in credit, the next one will be the creditor. So purchase is an expense, is increasing for the firm, it will be debited. And creditor also increases, liability increases, liability increasing, credited. And the next one is what? Sold goods for cash 10,000. Cash is one aspect, sales is the another account. Cash is asset, asset increases, we will give debit. And sales, it also increases, income increases, we will give credit. And the next one is what? Purchased office furniture. So the first one is furniture, or we can say office furniture, and the next one is cash. Both are asset. Both are asset. So one is increasing, furniture is increasing, debited, and cash is decreasing in the organization, so that is credited. Remember that. And the next one is paid salary 1,000. Salary is one aspect, cash is another aspect. Salary is an expense, it is increasing, debited. Cash is another aspect. Whenever the expense is paid by the organization, cash will decrease, credited. So remember, my dear students, you have to learn the rules of debit and credit. Whether it may be a traditional approach or modern approach, the output will be the same. But we have to analyze lot of transactions, not 5 or 6. We have to analyze thousands of transactions. Then only the rules of debit and credit will be very clear for you. I hope this video is very useful for you. Please go through the all aspects related to the rules of debit and credit, which is very important for your higher studies also. So please share this video with your friends to learn the different rules of debit and credit in accountancy. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. May God bless you all.